So we have some new updates regarding Uber Drivepass and what it's going to mean for drivers, what it's going to look like, and it's going to give a little bit more information. So that's what we're talking about right now. Hey everyone, Chris here from Real Rideshare Stories. If you're new to the channel and you're looking for different things within the rideshare industry, whether it's updates to what's going on, news, tips and tricks for passengers and drivers, or what actually happens on real rideshare rides, start now by hitting that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications. Also make sure to check the description below for other helpful information and tips. In the last video that I just posted, it was talking about Uber Drivepass, and it was just really a screenshot of what it looked like, and there was no real information behind it. But now I have an email that was sent to a Sacramento driver, and it gives a little bit more information as to how it's going to be set up. So we're going to talk about what this program is. We're going to go over the email. I'm going to show you exactly how it's going to look when it's set up. Then let's talk about if this is going to be beneficial for drivers or not, and how it's going to benefit Uber. And then also my thoughts on the program and if this is going to be good and if it's something that you should really actually be looking into or not. So first off, what is Drivepass? Well, it's a new program that Uber is setting up, and it looks like it's going to be test marketed probably in a select few cities. It looks like it's only also going to be in California because of the 75-25 split because of AB5. And essentially what it is a program that a driver can prepay to have 0% service fees for a particular amount of requests that come in. So it sounds a little strange, and yeah, it is pretty strange. And also the terminology that they use makes it even stranger because it's done on ride requests. It's not done on rides given. So that means if you have a low acceptance rate, this probably isn't going to be for you. But let's get right into the email, and then that way I can at least give you a little bit more information through that means. So now let's get to the email, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to read through it first, and then I will put a couple of things on screen where it's going to be highlighted. This is actually something that was copy and pasted, so this isn't a direct email. I just want to be fully transparent on that. So this program could change at any time. There could be many different variations of it. But yeah, this is essentially what it's going to look like. So again, like I said, this was a copy. So that's why I don't have the actual email on screen. Normally I would. If anybody does have that email and wants to forward me that would be great, because then I can actually put that out there. But like I said, this is something where it was copy and pasted from an email. So I just want to be clear on that. So as the email starts, it says, get 0% service fees when you buy a Drivepass. In Sacramento, you now have access to an additional way to earn called Drivepass, which will replace existing promotions in your city. Drivepass is another step we're taking to protect your access to independent work. How it works. You can buy a Drivepass for a select number of UberEATS trip requests and pay a 0% service fee on each of those trip requests. After you purchase your Drivepass, you will have 7 days to use the number of 0% service fee trip requests that you've purchased. Once you've received all of the requests that you've purchased, you will go back to paying the UberEATS 25% service fee. You can always buy another Drivepass at any time. As an introductory offer, we're discounting the price of the Drivepass. Prices will vary week to week, number of requests, and this week's price is, as you can see on screen, it says 0% service fee for up to 10 requests. It's normally $30. It's marked down to $7. For 50 requests, it's normally $150, brought down to $30. And then for up to 100 requests, it's $300, now marked down to $50. So yeah, this is a pretty crazy program so far. And let's just get back into the rest of the email. So it says, check out this example of the $7 Drivepass to better understand how it works. And this is on screen so you can see what it's going to look like with and without. And again, this is just a very general. This is not a in-depth. This is just something on paper. What actually happens in the real world out there, This is not going to look like that, but it's just giving you an idea of what it's going to look like. So if you get a number of requests, 10 coming in, and you accepted 8 of those, so then fare per completed trip is $15. That means the total fare that was generated when you drove those 8 trips was $120. With the 25% service fee, you only earned $90 as a driver. If you had purchased one of these passes up to 10 requests, then that means you would have gotten the full $120. So you would have made $30 more. And the savings with the Drive Pass after the $7 price is $23. So you can see, though, from the screen prior, how it was normally $30, but it's marked down to $7. You can see outside the introductory offer, it's pretty much a wash. So yeah, let's go on to the rest of the email, because then we can really break it down and I'll show you exactly if this program is good or not. But I'm sure you probably already have your thoughts on this to begin with. So it says the more trip requests you accept while using DrivePass, the more you will save. DrivePass can be used for UberX trips only, so XL, Select, Comfort, well, Select's going out, but Comfort, any of the other services that they have. This is only for UberX. So every UberX trip request you receive counts against your DrivePass, whether you accept, cancel, or decline the request. Rider cancellations will not count against your purchase requests. So again, this is where your acceptance rate and your cancellation rates will come in handy, because if you take, let's say, 100 ride requests that come in and you're only really taking 70 rides, then you can see where you're going to lose out on those 30. So yeah, it's one thing to keep in mind when you're doing this. You will need to close your driver app before tapping this link. You can do this by viewing the running apps on the phone, swiping on the driver app to close it. And then it goes on to talking about how the CDC and Uber and all the changes that they've made. And again, they're pretty much doing that in every email. So that is the email in full. We're going to go and break down that email again, because there's some terminology and things in there that you really need to know and understand, and you just need to know in order to see if this is going to be something that will benefit you or not. Now, overall, this is not going to benefit drivers. This is either going to be a wash or just straight up benefit Uber, and it's going to benefit Uber on many different levels. And my thoughts on this program is, unless I see real world examples, it's probably not that great. And it's going to make it sound like it's better because you're getting 0% service fee. But in actuality, it's probably, like I said, a wash. The only way you're going to find out is looking at past trips you've taken. You're going to have to look at your acceptance rate, your decline rate, your cancellation rate. All of that stuff is going to play into effect how this is going to look for you and if it's going to be worth it. So if you have a low acceptance rate because you don't want to take X amount of rides because they're not worth it for you, this program won't be good for you. If you have a high cancellation rate because of whatever reason, this is probably also not going to be good for you, because those requests are just going to go poof, magically gone, and too bad, so sad. Uber isn't going to care. The only way you protect them is if the rider themselves cancel, so then it won't count against you. But overall, like I said, you need to go back and look at all of your trips and see if it's going to benefit you or not. So you need to actually kind of figure out some math here and see what Uber is taking over X amount of trips. If you go back 10 trips, you can get an idea. But if you go back something like 50, 100, even 500 trips, you'll get a better image of what it looks like when you're on the road and how much Uber is really taking. And then is that going to really be worth it down the road in a prepaid manner? Because then on top of that, not only is it something where you have to shell out money in order for this to take place, but you are not guaranteed those trip requests, because if, again, you cancel it or if you decline a trip or anything like that, then they just disappear and count against you. So it's not always necessarily going to benefit you. And these are all things you really need to take a look at in order to make your decision. So I think this is really just another way for Uber to shift certain things around, for it to be able to exert control over drivers, for it to be able to get prepaid on certain rides because now you're paying to have a 0% service fee. And is it really going to be worth it? And that's why you're going to have to go back and look at your previous rides to see if this is going to be something that will be worth it for you or not. And then also with these varying prices that they're going to have and trips to get this 0%, is it going to actually be worth it or not? So there's going to be a lot more things that you're going to have to do as a driver in order to see if this decision makes sense financially for you or not. I would not buy this pass without looking previous rides, without looking at my acceptance rate, my cancellation rate, and taking all of those factors into account. And that's something you really should be doing. So let's get back to the email and break it down a little bit. So it says get 0% service fees when you buy a DrivePass. In Sacramento, you now have access to an additional way to earn called DrivePass, which will replace existing promotions in your city. So that sentence right there is a contradiction. And it says you now have access to an additional way to earn called DrivePass. But first, you got to shell out some money in order to get that DrivePass. And then it's going to also replace existing promotions in your city. So if you had any promotions there, depending on what they are, now they're going to be replaced by DrivePass, which means, again, you got to shell out that money. So it's not really an additional way to earn. It's sidestepped, and the only way, additionally, maybe you could earn extra. Which isn't necessarily true depending on how the math works out. And then it says DrivePass is another step we're taking to protect your access to independent work. And that is absolutely false because, like I said, I think this is a way for Uber to control itself over a driver, because if you take and purchase a DrivePass and then you get a string of ride requests that come in that you wouldn't want to take because it's not worth your time, you're probably going to be more apt to take that so you don't lose that ride request. So this is a way that they're sneakily controlling you. So no, it's not another step to protect access to independent work. It's actually taking away control by making you want to take those rides because you will lose that ride request pass if you don't. And that's a problem. And then it goes on to how it works again. So again, you can buy the DrivePass, for a select number of UberEATS trip requests and pay 0% service fee on each of those requests coming in. And again, it's only UberEATS. So after you purchase the DrivePass, you have 7 days to use it. If you don't, then too bad, so sad. So if your car breaks down, if you have some sort of emergency, if you're going on vacation, you still have some left, well, they're gone. Too bad, so sad. They expire. So they have a 7-day shelf life. So if you don't use them within that time frame, unfortunately, your money is up in the air at that point. Also, then it says, once you've received all the requests that you've purchased, you will go back to paying the UberEATS 25% service fee. You can always buy another DrivePass at any time. So it's just letting you know how that's going to work. So nothing there. But here is what I showed you earlier, and it's talking about as an introductory offer, we're discounting the price of DrivePass. Prices will vary week to week. So this week's price, it's showing 0% service fee for up to 10 requests is $30 normally, and it's $7 marked down. Then for 50 requests, it's normally $150, brought down to $30. And normally for $100, it's normally $300, marked down to $50. Now these normal prices, this 30, this 150, and 300, they're picked for a particular reason. And I'm betting that's because that's what they would make on those amount of rides. So if you took 10 requests on average, the service fee, they're probably going to make $30 on those 10 requests. For 50, it's probably 150, and for 100, it's probably 300. So essentially, it's going to be probably a wash. So if there is no markdown, then it's probably a wash. But again, that's only on their one example that they gave. That is a very poor example because it doesn't take into account real world rides that are happening every single day. So going on to that next screen, it says for this example, so you can see, yeah, the number of trip requests that come in are 10 for what you've purchased. And you've only accepted 8, so you have an 80% acceptance rate. The the fare per completed trip is $15. And that's where I don't like this example, because most rides aren't $15. There's a lot of rides that are going to be less than that, and there's a few rides that are going to be more than that. It's going to depend on your market and your previous rides. So again, the best thing to do is for you as a driver to see if this is going to be beneficial for you or not, is look at your previous rides and make the decision based that way. Then, so if you take that $15, multiply it by 8, that's where you get the $120. With Uber's 25%, they're going to take $30 of that, so it's going to bring it down to your earnings of $90. And if you purchased a 10 drive pass, then it will be $120 that you get to keep. So the savings with Drive Pass after the $7 price would be $23. But again, if you aren't getting this introductory offer and you're paying that full price, it's a wash. So you're not really going to make any more money. It's going to look like you're going to make more money, but in actuality, you're not. So it's a wash. And this is something that you really need to look at your previous ride experiences and see if this is going to be something that's going to benefit you or not. So that is something you really want to take into effect, because again, if this is a business and you want to make money, you really need to look at these things to make sure if this is going to benefit you or not. And it says, the more trip requests you accept while using DrivePass, the more you will save. So it's reinforcing that, saying that if you don't accept these rides that we offer you, well, then you're going to lose that and you may not make any money then at that point. You actually may be owing us more money than what it would have been before. Not only that, they're also getting prepaid on all of these trips. So that is something that you also need to take into consideration. Why would you want to pay for something to get 0% service fee if it's not going to work out in your favor? So what are your thoughts on this? Comment below, let me know. Do you think this is going to be something that'll benefit you as a driver? Or do you think that this is something that is going to just be in Uber's benefit? Do you think this is going to be a wash? Comment below, let me know all your thoughts on it. And if you have any more information or anything like that as this program goes on, I'd love to hear about that. So if you are a person in Sacramento or maybe another test market that this is in and you've purchased one of these passes, what does it look like? Are you actually making more money, or is it a wash, or did you lose money on it? Comment below and let me know. Now that's the end of this video. Make sure you subscribe and ring the bell for notifications so you'll be notified every time a new video is uploaded. Also, make sure to check the description below for other helpful information and tips. And as always, never drink and drive. Always tip your drivers, your delivery drivers, and your shoppers. And we'll see you next time.